politics, all of those things get in our way of our relationship with Jesus. And then there's the other stuff. I left my phone in my drawer, in my office, so I wouldn't get distracted. You know, that phone rings at the most terrible times. And it distracts us. Video games. And I know nobody here plays video games. You know, TV, radio, sports, movies, all of that can cause us to lose our focus on Jesus. Love the story that I read about. There was a very nervous man who was about to take a cross-country flight. And then he got out of his car at the airport. It was pouring down rain, just coming a flood. And as he traversed the concourse, he could hear the lightning and the thunder. And it was just getting worse and worse. And he looked out the window and he saw how bad it was. And he wandered around thinking about it because he was early. And while he walked, he ran across one of those machines in the airport that sells life insurance. And he thought about his family at home. And you could get $100,000 worth of life insurance for $3. And he thought about his kids. And he thought, I can't not do this. So he put his $3 in. He got life insurance policy. He stuck it in his pocket. And he felt a little bit better about things. And he still had time before his plane left. And he got hungry. So he walked on a little way further and he came to a Chinese restaurant. And that sounded good to him. So he ordered, they brought him his food, and it was very good. And he was about to finish up, and the nice lady brought him his orange, she brought him his fortune cookie, and she brought him his bill. He ate the orange, he paid the bill, because he was one of those that saved the sweet till last. And it had been a good meal, and he was looking forward to the sweet, and he opened it up, and he looked at his fortune. And it said, your recent investment will pay big dividends. He went immediately and changed his flight. That guy lost his focus. He let little things get in the way and distract him from his purpose. His purpose was to get home. And he had the knowledge in his head that air transport is the safest form of transportation there is. He lost his focus. And we do the same thing with our relationship with God. We let other things that are so much less important and less meaningful, sometimes they're even trivial, get between us and our love for God. They get between us and our willingness to serve God with all of our heart and soul and mind and strength. And we let stuff get in the way of our relationship with God. What we are called to be is focused. But sometimes it doesn't happen. And then once get focused, we need to stay focused, because when we're focused, guess what? This side of the church is going to help these folks on this side. And these folks over there are going to help us, because we understand. We're all brothers and sisters in Christ. That's what's behind the programming in our church or in any other church there is, that it builds and it helps our desire for us to listen and to focus and to help one another, both those within our church family and those outside the church doors. So we're called to listen and we're called to focus, and when that happens, then with all of us, there's going to be transformation. And as I've read this, and as I've read a couple of commentators, I've come to realize that this passage really isn't so much about Jesus being transformed right before the three fellas' eyes. It's about Peter, James, and John. And in the transfiguration of Jesus, it's not just Jesus' appearance, how he looks, that changes. Peter's, James's, and John's perception of Jesus changes too. Now, Think about what we know about Jesus up until this time. They've been with him 1.5 years, 2 years, maybe almost 3. They've been with him, and they suspected things about him, but they weren't positive. From this moment on, there could be no doubt. God had spoken, and all 3 of them heard it. All 3 of them had witnessed the Transfiguration. All 3 of them saw Moses and Elijah standing there with the one that God had called his beloved Son. And they were transformed by this experience. Now, it wasn't an instant transformation. It was ongoing. It was a building process. If it had been instant, Peter wouldn't have run away, would he have, at the crucifixion? He'd have hung on and stayed right there. If it had been instant, Peter wouldn't have doubted Christ prior to Pentecost. Now, for some people, it is instant. Think of one of the heroes of the Bible whose change was instant. Paul, right there on the Damascus road. Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And Saul immediately was transformed. But for most of us, it's a building process. It's like watching our bank account grow. And we are transformed gradually by a faith relationship with Jesus and with God and with others who love and serve the way we do. We're transformed. We're changed because we rub shoulders with God's people. You change me. We change each other because God has changed us. So that's part of what the business of the church is. Think about this. I found this sentence and I really like it. That the business of the church is not information about God. The business of the church is being transformed and being an agent for transformation of others by God. Information you can get out of a book. Knowledge of God comes from our heart. But there's a warning. And I will leave you pretty much with this. We are not the light. We're the bearers of the light. And the world needs the light that God has given us the responsibility to carry. The light that we bear and the good news that we share have the power to change not just lives of those that we know and love, but it has the power to change the lives around us. It has the power to change the world we live in, one person at a time. So as we walk out this morning, we've been here in a nice, quiet, dry, warm environment. It's kind of like the mountaintop. But we're not called to stay on the mountaintop. We're called to take the light down into the valley, down away from that cloud, and to let that experience transform us so that that light of Christ shines through all we do. For over 90 years, the people of this building have been involved in a work of transformation. And that work isn't near over. God is still working His transforming power through us. And our challenge today is to continue to listen to God and to focus on Jesus. We don't know how it really works. But we know that when we listen to God and when we focus on Jesus and Jesus only, God's work of transformation, God's work of change continues. Our lives have been changed. Our responsibility is help others be a light so that their lives too can be transformed. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.